Hi, this is Dancing Rabbit, and welcome to another Saturday Pagan Perspective. This week's topic is weddings and handfastings. Handfasting has a couple of different meanings. The older Wiccan meaning of handfasting is a sort of temporary marriage, a trial marriage for a year and a day. It's called a handfasting because the couple's hands are ritually bound together with a cord or ribbon. Others use the word handfasting to mean just a pagan-style marriage ceremony. In the United States, marriage is both a religious and a civil thing. Now, if you go to a church and you have the minister, the pastor, the priest marry you, they're going to do both. They're going to do both the religious ceremony and they're going to fill out the civil paperwork so that it's legal. You can go to a judge or justice of the peace and have a strictly civil ceremony where they'll fill out the legal paperwork, you'll say vows, but there's really no religious element to it. Or you can go to a minister and have just the religious or spiritual ceremony. This is particularly true with same-sex marriage in most states because it's not legal. But you can go to a minister who is willing to do the ceremony, and they will do a religious ceremony. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, it's called a holy union. Now, what should the marriage ceremony be like? If you're a pagan and you're planning on getting married, should you do a full-on, drawn broadsword, circle-casting pagan handfast, or should you do something a little less off the wall, a little more ordinary? I think it depends on the couple. It's really the couple's marriage, it's the couple's decision, but they might also consider the feelings of their family. My youngest son got married this past year, and he is an open-minded, I think sort of agnostic, who's been exposed to paganism with his mom and me. His wife is basically a non-practicing pagan, but her family is very fundamentalist Christian, and they asked me to do the ceremony, and I'll have little bits and clips of it in this video. But I met with them twice to talk about it. The first time to sort of get their idea of what they wanted. Did they want a full pagan ritual? Did they want something a little more toned down? Or just what did they want? So I wrote a ceremony and they did a little more looking, and we got back together a second time about a month later, and I showed them what I had written. And the really neat thing is that the vows and the readings that I had picked and gotten off the internet basically were exactly the same ones that they had picked from a wedding book they were using. So we made a few editorial changes and deleted a couple of things that made it a little shorter and basically did the ceremony. We didn't use God or Jesus in it. We didn't do any Bible verses. So somebody that was looking at it very carefully might have noticed a few normal things that would be there weren't there. On the other hand, we didn't do anything that would have been offensive to her family, because that was really not the point of it, to slap her family in the face. So if you're pagan and you have a Christian family, you might consider something like that. I would suggest that you go to a Unitarian Universalist minister and talk about what you're wanting. It would be a good idea to actually join the church first, and that way you have a real right to go and talk to the minister because they would be your minister. Also, if you choose to have the ceremony in that church rather than in some public place or at a home, you get a member's rate, which is usually about half off. If you are gay or lesbian and wanting to have a ceremony, a religious ceremony, you also might consider talking to a Unitarian Universalist minister or Metropolitan Community Church minister or possibly United Church of Christ. They will be able to do the ceremony, whether it is legally binding in your state or not, and I think that they would be open to your wishes, especially the Unitarian Universalist, if you're pagan, to have something that honors the goddess in your tradition, but maybe doesn't offend everybody else. If you're going to a pagan priest or priestess to get married, you need to make sure that they are legally ordained. I'm ordained through the Universal Life Church, which basically will ordain anyone online for free, and it's actually real. In some states, particularly Arkansas, what you need to do with your Universal Life minister's license is go down to your local courthouse, pay a couple of bucks, get it photocopied, and sign the big book, and you are officially a minister, and you can legally marry people in that state. Other states like Texas are even more open. You don't even have to register your ordination anywhere. You can just sign the marriage license and put down that you are a minister. So check it out. If you want to have a legally binding marriage, check it out and make sure that the person doing the ceremony is legally ordained and that they're able to fill out the paperwork. Otherwise, there might be some surprises later. I've done handfastings that were not legal ceremonies, and I've done marriages that were. I've also done one gay marriage, one holy union service, which of course in Arkansas is not legally binding, but it is a spiritual commitment. So that's about all I've got to say about marriage. I feel like that everybody is entitled to be married, to have a wedding, to have the wedding of their choice, but also I think that maybe you should consider your family a little bit, get some of their input, or consider their feelings. And I want to thank all of you for being patient. The upload on this is probably going to be later Sunday. Right now I'm at Spirit Haven near Flatonia, Texas at the Council of Magickal Arts Beltain Festival, which maybe you can hear in the background. Anyway, till next time, Dancing Rabbit, peace.